Well, thank you everybody for being here. My name is Olivia Bossart, and I'm the media manager from Atout France in Zurich. Today, I have the pleasure to present Nathalie Belbaussant, who is the Director for Sustainable Tourism at the Teragir Association. She will present the blue flag and the green key labels. So Nathalie, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. And I would like first to start by thanking Atout France for welcoming me today and for creating this opportunity to share information about how the French industry is transforming its facilities and operations to become more sustainable in the tourism field. No longer than last week, the president of Atout France, Christian Monteilly, introduced our online event to celebrate the newly awarded sites with Green Key. And to me, this shows the growing concerns at a decision makers level, really to transform our tourism industry. So that being said, let's talk about the blue flag and green key labels, and I will start with blue flag. So blue flag is a world-renowned eco-label, which is trusted by millions of people around the globe. So it's developed by Teragir. Teragir is a non-governmental organization which is part of a global network, which is a network of the foundations for environmental education that is present in about 77 countries. It's an umbrella organization which rolls out 5 environmental education programs, so Blue Flag and Green Key in the tourism industry, and also eco-schools, youth environment in the youth field. So this is the spread of Blue Flag worldwide. It's now present in 47 countries in more than 4,600 beaches and marinas, which are really the main focus on Blue Flag. So Blue Flag is an international voluntary award that targets beaches and marinas mainly. It has been created in France in 1985. And since then, we have a global coordination in Denmark, just as for all the FEE programs, the Foundation for Environmental Education programs. So Blue Flag in France is present on 401 beaches in 2020 and 106 marinas. So as this is a yearly eco-label, we will release at the end of May 2021 the new list of awarded beaches and marinas. I can just tell you that we have more applicants than last year, so normally we should have a little bit more, which will be announced at the end of May. You can see on the map that we have a stronger presence in the south of France, in Occitanie, Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, as well as on the west coast in Brittany, Bretagne, and Pays de la Loire. We have also some beaches and marinas which are awarded on French overseas territories, such as the French Polynesia and Île de la Réunion. So what is Blue Flag about? We have 6 main categories of criteria. We focus on environmental education and information, on environmental management, for example, waste management. On the water quality, we have a strong criteria on this topic. The quality of water must be excellent, and it must be the case for the past 3 years. So this means really water for the past 3 years would have had an excellent result. Blue Flag is also the sign that beaches and marinas are accessible and are safe. So we have also a related topic. We focus also, of course, on social responsibility, and we are also responsible regarding wildlife. So we have several criteria on this topic also. So you can see here an example of what we mean by beaches that should be accessible for all. This means you should be able to reach the beach, but also then to reach the water. So you must have some processes available so that people can go into the water with materials that are adapted. This is an example of an environmental education activity. So what we prefer is that when activities can be directly in the marina or on the beaches with tourists, but we can also have activities with residents of the city, for example, with children from school going to the beach with some biodiversity experts to learn a little bit more about how to preserve their environment. We have also an excellent network of blue flag marinas worldwide. So for marinas also, there are analyses of water that are really important, and also criteria regarding how you will manage the waste that come from the boats on the marina with a pump available and training available. Or we have also criteria regarding pollution management to ensure that if there is the slightest issue, marinas are able to react really quickly. And we have also criteria, of course, regarding the fact that beaches should be safe and clean. So clean, it's for the comfort of tourists, but it's also really to preserve biodiversity, to ensure that plastic will not end in the sea or in rivers. And for the safety, we have two types of criteria depending on the level of frequentation of the beaches. If that's a beach with really low frequentation, it's important for us not to impact the environment. So you can have processes that enable to call people, but if it's a beach with really high frequentation, you must have people on site directly available for the safety. So why trust Blue Flag? Blue Flag is a totally transparent eco-label, just as all our eco-labels, which means that you can find all the criteria and processes available on the blueflag.global website, but also on all our websites in each country. It's really, transparency is a key value for us. We have also a yearly awarding process, which means that year after year we control. We have a control on files, but also control on sites with auditors that are visiting the sites. And we have a double jury system with national jury and then an international jury. And you can see on this screenshot the member of our international jury, for example, the UN Environment Organization, the World Travel Organization, IUCN, and so on. So really it's important for us to collaborate with strong stakeholders and experts that also give all the value to the Blue Flag eco-label. So this is for Blue Flag. I'm going to share another screen with the Green Key program now. So Green Key is also an eco-label that is rolled out by the Foundation for Environmental Education Worldwide and by Teragir in France. And I would like also to take the opportunity of this presentation to tell you that we are also working totally in line with the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's really important for us to be part of this framework because it's a framework that has been agreed globally, and we see this as something really positive. This means that not only Teragir, our association, but also each program that we roll out is really careful that all what we do, even though we have a main concern, for example, on biodiversity or on water or climate, that all what we do is also in line with the other sustainable development goals. So you can see on the bottom right, a self-evaluation that we did regarding, for example, the Green Key program in France. in comparison with the expectation of the 17th Sustainable Development Goals, and where we have the main reach. So Green Key is also present globally.
Excuse me, Nat, we don't see the presentation. I think you need to open it in full screen.
Oh, it's in full screen on my screen.
The blue flag.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the sharing and share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So this is the self-evaluation I was talking about on the bottom right, where you can see how we have compared the criteria of Green Key and our processes to the expectation of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And now you can see here the global rollout of Green Key. So we are now present in 65 countries on more than 3,200 sites. Green Key has been created in Denmark in 1994, and it's now recognized by GSTC. So GSTC is the Global Sustainable Tourism Organization, and we are partner also of the UN Environment Programme and the World Travel Organization. Globally, Green Key is the first award for sustainable accommodations and restaurants. So Green Key in France is available on 714 accommodations. So we are now the first country in the world regarding the number of Green Key awarded sites. And this represents, in a normal year, not a COVID year, 25 million of night guests. So it's really an important reach in terms of a night guest. So that's 25 million of night guests with lower environmental impact and with more social responsibility. We are present on more than 200 campsites, 190 hotels, 149 tourism residencies, so where you can rent a flat, for example, but you have services, 105 small accommodations, which is typically bed and breakfast, 35 youth hostels, and 8 restaurants. So you can see on the map that we are mainly present in the south of France, and we are also in the overseas territories with the Green Key program. It's also important for us to work in strong collaboration with all tourism stakeholders. So some territories that really want to focus on sustainable tourism. For example, the tourism office of the Tour Loire Valley, Vendée Expansion on the west coast, Aérotourism and Marseille on the Mediterranean coast, Haute-Garonne Tourisme, which is where you have the city of Toulouse, and below you can see the logo of the 4 overseas territories. We have several official agencies and professionals organizations which are part of our jury, including Atout France, but also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is in charge of tourism in France, the Ministry of Environment, and we really have also all our professional organizations for hotels, for campsites, which are part of our jury. Some renowned groups also are engaged with us. You probably know Best Western or Radisson, Pierre et Vacances. Le French Time is a group that gathers 2 networks of campsites, Cité Paysage and Les Castels. And Vacances ULVF is more a social type of holidays. So what does Green Key focus on? We focus on environmental policy and staff training. We really see the staff training as an important part because we want to be sure that the sustainable process in the accommodation is not just relying on one person, but we have to be sure that everybody knows what is his or her role to promote sustainable tourism in the accommodation. We work also on guest sensibilization to ensure they take part to the process. We have about 30 criteria regarding energy management. This can be controlling the consumption of energy, but it's also about how the building is insulated, but not only the building, but also, for example, water pipe, to be sure that really at each step of energy management it's controlled. And of course, we focus also on the type of energy which are used in the establishment. We have criteria regarding water management, and especially regarding, for example, the flow of a shower, of taps, which enable us to prove that we save about 50 liters of water per night guest, which means if you take 25 million of night guests, 1 trillion of liters of water that are saved each year by Green Key awarded establishments in France. We work also on waste management. We have a two-way approach. First, reducing the global level of waste that are produced by the accommodation, and then ensuring that they are separated properly and collected properly. And we work also on responsible purchases with two main focus. The first one is regarding food, catering, and the second one regarding cleaning products. So what are the benefits of Green Key in an accommodation? For a guest that goes that sleeps in a Green Key awarded establishment, you will find social responsibility in this establishment and lower environmental impact. We will ensure that it's a sustainable economic activity with the benefit going to the employees, also going to the local population, because we will promote local purchases, for example. So this is typically what a guest will find in a Green Key awarded establishment, and this is what maybe he will be able to see. For example, the water management. He will see that he has information regarding how he can participate in saving water or saving energy, but there are also a lot of things that the guests will not see, but that are present and that enable us to reach this result. And so we should not lose any more drops. And we are now launching the 2021 campaign to increase the number of accommodations that will apply to the Green Key program in France. Thank you. I can't hear you. I don't know if there are any questions. Thank you, Cécile. You're welcome. Do not hesitate and to ask me any questions if you have some of them, or if I was not clear enough on one point. So I'm reading one question. In what way is Atout France promoting, supporting, or funding the labels? So today, Atout France is a member of the jury of Green Key. We are also, Atout France is also present in the, I don't know how to translate that. We have a committee with the French state to work on sustainable tourism. And I know Atout France is part of this committee because I can see them there. And we have a lot of actions that are in preparation, but maybe I will not answer any longer and let Olivia answer, because it's about Atout France. Olivia, would you like to add something?
I'm back. I couldn't see you anymore, but everything is well right now. Thank you. So the question, in what way is Atout France promoting, supporting, or funding the labels? So maybe you can also explain, Nathalie, because we have Atout France is also in the jury. So maybe you can also explain more how we are linked to you.
Yeah, of course. So Atout France has been part of the jury for maybe dozens of years now. We have so the jury each year, but we also meet with Visio during the year. For example, when we are working on the evolution of criteria for the Green Key program, and we are collecting back the opinion of all the members of the jury. And I know also that Atout France is now working on increasing the number of environmental criteria in the classification of hotels and campsites in France. So we are also part of the process of suggesting the criteria, and especially we have had discussions with them regarding some criteria that could be in opposition with what we could expect, but that are criteria that are important for quality. And so we are working on how to maybe rename the criteria, how to change the notice, the explanation of what we expect, to be sure that there won't be any opposition in the future.
So there is another question appearing. Yeah, if there are no obligation or strong benefits for destinations to certify.
So there are no obligation. This is true. Any destination can decide to apply or not. So, and because we want this really to be voluntary, but there are benefits for destinations, because today you have a growing expectation for tourists regarding the fact that a destination is sustainable and that their activity as a tourist will not damage the environment. So you can really see growing concern that there are many surveys in the past 2 years. In 2018, we had a survey showing that 66% of tourists wanted to travel in a responsible way. And 1.5 years later, the survey showed that 87% of tourists want to travel in a responsible way and to ensure that they won't damage the environment. So you have really a strong focus regarding tourists. It's also true for the business travel. So I think you have these first benefits regarding clients for the destination. The second benefit is really the fact that you participate to preserve your destination. I mean, a territory is a destination, a touristic destination. So if you don't preserve it, maybe today your destination will not interest anyone, because you will have beaches with a lot of waste. So this is not possible. You have to preserve your destination. You have also to ensure that your destination has the capacity to bear tourism. And when you have in some places 80% of increase of the population during the summer, having eco labels that made you progress, for example, in water management, enables you to face the increase of population, because you have less water than you need to procure and to clean. So it's the same for waste. If you have a strong environmental management, you will decrease all the infrastructure that you have to build on your territory just to be able to welcome tourists during 2 months in the summer.
Okay, so thank you, Nathalie Belbaussant. We arrive at the end of this conference. Thank you for sharing the time with us, and thank you also to everybody for participating to our media tour. Don't hesitate to continue to interact on the platform, to ask questions, and I wish you very nice meetings for these 2 days. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Nathalie, and see you soon.
Thank you, Olivia.